Before discussing today's story, I think it's important that I make two things very clear. Two things that I really actually can't stand. Firstly is Halloween. Now, Halloween here in the UK is very different to Halloween in the US. However, here in the UK, whilst there are some niceties with small children getting together, playing, dressing up, and in certain, probably smaller communities, there is a more community feel about it with kids going door to door, trick-or-treating, getting sweets, etc., etc. It is generally overshadowed by a feeling of menace, often from sort of youths or from people of a certain age who use it as an excuse to commit antisocial behaviour, go around and in effect terrorise neighbourhoods, go around and scare older people. But the other main reason I dislike Halloween is at the core of it, if we take away the antisocial behaviour and the menace, is fancy dress. And I think fancy dress is something that belongs in room 101. Check Orwell for more information. So why do I dislike fancy dress? Well, if you're under the age of, say, 12, it's absolutely fine. If you're under the age of 21, you get a pass with a little bit of a slap on the wrist. But if you are over 21 and you are having a fancy dress party, then seriously, I think there should be repercussions for your actions. Fancy dress parties to me are taking something that is almost destined to be a fairly subdued social occasion and trying to inject some what I call forced fun into proceedings by making people dress up and act a bit silly. Now you might think, oh, Phil just doesn't like parties. I love parties. I'm probably too old for the type of parties that I enjoy, but I love a good house party. I love a good celebration. I love socialising and I like seeing people. What I don't like is feeling the obligation to dress up, to put on a bit of a show for everyone else around me in order to try and inject some fun, because the host has decided it would be great to have everyone go out of their way, spend time and money creating an outfit for themselves which they're never going to wear again. So this brings me to the subject of today's story and what I want to talk about and what I kind of want your guys' reaction to, really. The headline reads, prankster who dressed up as Manchester Arena bomber Salman Abedi for Halloween faces being sent to prison. A guy called David Wotton here in the UK dressed up as an approximation of the guy who committed the terror attack at the Ariana Grande concert in the Manchester Arena. Sorry to interrupt the video, only 5% of the people who watch these videos regularly are actually subscribed. If you don't mind just hitting that subscribe button, it's completely free, there's no obligation, you can unsubscribe at any time and there would be no hard feelings from me. There's also a link in the description below if you fancy buying me a pint. It says buy me a coffee, but a pint's much better, isn't it? Particularly on a warm day like today. Anyway, back to the video. Now, I think it's fairly safe to say that the vast majority of people, regardless of how dark your sense of humour, will probably think this is in incredibly poor taste. Certainly, I think if I was to go to a party or go out on Halloween dressed as such, you'd expect to get somewhat of a backlash from the people around you. I'm all for dark humour. In fact, the UK thrives on dark humour. It has seen us through probably the darkest times in this country. I think there is a line between what is acceptable and what is frankly just offensive for the sake of being offensive and distasteful. However, I accept that there will be people whose sense of humour is such that they would find this particularly amusing, and personally, I think that's absolutely fine. However, it seems that the police and the judiciary system have decided that this probably isn't fine, and Mr. Wotton is now facing potentially up to 2 years in prison when this trial occurs next month. Now, this is happening in the light of two very significant things that have happened here in the UK. Firstly, people being arrested and sentenced, often to custodial prison sentences, for things they have said online, things they have shared on social media, or for opinions they put forward about potentially sensitive topics. What we've also seen here in the UK, in the light of Operation Early Dawn, is the release of thousands of prisoners, many of whom were originally sentenced because of violent crimes, such as assault, domestic abuse, etc., etc. So the idea that now someone is likely to be sent to prison for their selection of Halloween outfit, albeit in incredibly poor taste, does raise the question of where the bar should be set. Obviously, we're currently in September, so next month will be Halloween. And I think the outcome of this case and the sentencing that Mr. Wotton gets as a result of this outfit that he wore will set a precedent for what becomes acceptable on October the 31st and the surrounding weekends, where there will be a lot of people who go out to parties, go out to bars, go out to nightclubs, dressed up in all sorts of ways. I've witnessed people dress up as people like Jimmy Savile. Now, if you're not from the UK, Jimmy Savile was a TV personality in the 70s, 80s and 90s and was later revealed to be a prolific paedophile. I've also seen people go out dressed as people like Harold Shipman, who was a serial killer, etc., etc. I've seen people go out dressed as Nazis, as Adolf Hitler, etc., etc., all in very poor taste, and all people who, in their own rights, should be condemned in the strongest possible terms. However, I feel it's dangerous to link the terrorists who committed the atrocity at the Manchester Arena to the guy who's gone dressed as him. Some could say there is an argument that he is in fact parodying someone, that he is mocking someone, and he's mocking someone truly evil. I spoke about this a few years ago on this very channel, where someone was arrested for mocking Adolf Hitler. Surely if you're going to go out and mock someone, if you're going to deride someone, if you're going to send someone up, so to speak, then doing it to someone who was genuinely evil and had genuinely evil intentions, they are the perfect target, surely, because nobody can really be offended. In this instance, however, it seems that some people were offended, and I understand that the outfit the guy made, which had a replica kind of Arab headdress, which I believe was probably just a tea towel, sunglasses, and a backpack with Boom and TNT written on it, and an I Love Ariana Grande t-shirt, okay, probably very low budget, probably knocked up at the last minute. I understand how that is insensitive to the families of the victims of the bombing. I also understand why people would take offence at it. I understand why he would probably get a bit of a backlash from his friends or whoever he was with on that night, and also from anyone who saw the photo of the outfit that he posted on social media. That is what I guess they call social repercussion. People will come back to you and people will come out and go, come on mate, you're being a bit of a knob there, which is probably one of the more English things I've said all week. But that is the type of backlash that I believe these sorts of actions and these sorts of outfits and these sorts of, dare I say, fishing for attention behaviours deserve. They do deserve backlash from your peers. They do deserve a bit of comment or a bit of criticism for those people around you. What they don't need is for the police to get involved, for the judiciary to get involved, and for someone to end up imprisoned, taking the place of someone who is potentially actually far more dangerous and more of a threat to the public at large. They don't need that level of government, judiciary and police involvement for basically a silly costume which maybe crossed the line in some respects. Otherwise, if we are going to imprison this guy for this bomber outfit, where do we draw the line? Do those people who go out dressed as serial killers, do they get banged up behind bars? Those people who go out dressed up as convicted paedophiles, do they get banged up? Yes, it's in poor taste. Yes, I don't necessarily agree you should do it. But also I think it is still verging on a control of our free speech and a control of our free will if we are to say that these actually then become crimes simply because they are associated with someone who is a genuine criminal. What do you think? Let me know in the comment section below. Tell me that I'm wrong and that I'm really boring for disliking fancy dress parties. But also consider this. What sort of precedent will this set for the upcoming Halloween next month if we are to imprison this guy for his choice of outfit? Where is the line then drawn? When is an outfit then offensive, inoffensive? When is an outfit then appropriate, inappropriate? And when is an outfit criminal? Let me know your thoughts. Take care everyone, stay safe and stay sane.